Subscribe now and press the bell icon to GEPL Capital's YouTube channel and never miss out on any stock market update and build your knowledge on investment. Hi, this is Lakshmi, your comparer for the special Zomato IPO podcast. This is not my usual Tuesday talks, but as promised, I am here to make the right investment choices. Today we have with us a fundamental analyst who's going to dissect the Zomato IPO for you. A hit or a miss? Wait to know more.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Lakshmi. I am super excited as much as everyone else is to discuss the Zomato IPO with all of y'all. And I'm sure, there's been a lot of talk around it. So this is your one stop to, sort of break down everything we need to know about the Zomato IPO. So I'll just, tell you a little bit. I'm sure we all are familiar with what Zomato does, but nonetheless, I'll just give you a little bit background about the business, the segments it operates in, its revenue stream. So Zomato actually is a food delivery startup that started off as a review and rating mechanism for people visiting dine out restaurants and also enabling them to make payments. Then after that they sort of forayed into food delivery space, and right now food delivery makes up around 95% of their revenues. The rest of their revenues come from Hyperpure, which is another model that they started. Under Hyperpure, Zomato delivers all the raw materials to its partner restaurants, and if the partner restaurant uses the Zomato raw material and vegetables, then they get a green sticker next to them on the Zomato app. I'm sure we might have come across that as well. So Zomato has started Hyperpure, and it's also growing very rapidly. In the month of March 2021, it supplied to around 9,225 restaurant partners. So as of fiscal year 21, the active food delivery restaurants that Zomato had were around 150,000 restaurants partnering with the application. So that is a huge sort of network effect that Zomato has seen. The business model of Zomato, now I'll just tell you a little bit about that. First, the customer places an order. When the customer places an order, he pays for the food cost, the delivery charge, the packaging charge, the tips. So all the packaging charges go to the restaurant, the delivery charges and the tip go to the delivery partner directly. Zomato is just a medium of exchange between that. But what Zomato keeps is the commission minus the discounts that Zomato themselves have decided to fund. So they charge a commission that is known as a take rate on the per order value basis. So the higher the value, the higher the commission for Zomato. That's in brief what their business model is. So coming to unit economics now of Zomato, that how much did they make per order? So coming to that, in FY20, Zomato was losing around 30 rupees per order. But things improved in FY21. On a contribution level, they were able to net 20 rupees around per order, including all variable costs, all discounts and all marketing expenses. But the fixed costs like advertising and all of that, Zomato is still on a net loss level on the bottom line. Coming to some of the strengths and strategies that Zomato has. Zomato has a really strong network effect. Now, what does the network effect mean? I'm sure we all have heard of this. But what it means is that the consumers drive the content drives the traction drives the restaurants, and the restaurants then themselves drive customers. So it's a cyclical process that keeps feeding off each other. Then Zomato also provides a lot of technology enablement to all its partner restaurants in terms of order processing, order management, back-end operations, technology. All of that is provided by Zomato. Moreover, it also has a focus on the unit economics and growth at the same time, where they have been able to break into the contribution positive level, as in to cover all their variable costs and still meet a profit line. The advertising expense has fallen to around 25% of the revenue in FY21. I know that's a really sharp drop from 88% of FY19. So that is the kind of money that they are pumping into marketing and advertising their platform. Coming to the last part, of our report, the listed, peers and the valuation and the recommendation and what are we advising for the Zomato IPO. So there are no listed peers in the food delivery space as of now in India. But however, abroad there are examples of company called DoorDash that have sort of listed at around 16 times price to sales. Zomato, on the other hand, is listed a little more richer at 30 times, almost double price to sales of FY21. The average order value, if we compare to from Zomato to DoorDash, the average order value of DoorDash is around $55. Zomato is just being $5. So there is a sort of huge discrepancy in the kind of unit economics that both are seeing, and yet Zomato wants to command almost a double valuation. It's a little rich. So we believe that we would recommend a subscribe rating for risk taking investors, who believe in the growth story and the high growth probability of a consumer and food tech startup that it brings. Because this is not like a traditional business, it is still free cash flow negative, net profitability is negative, it's still on a net loss level. So for a risk averse investor, we would recommend that to little straighten out a bit and the company to start showing some sustained profitability and cash flows before deciding to make an investment as in the long term. So our recommendation would be for a risk-taking investor to definitely subscribe for the purpose of listing gains, and for a risk-averse investor would be a wait and watch kind of situation where they can sort of wait for the company to start sustain profitability, sustain cash flows without having to raise external capital, and then perhaps take an investment decision in the same. So I hope I've answered all your questions, and for more details we can also refer to the report that we will be putting in the link. And thank you again for having me over here, Lakshmi. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much. I hope this was an informative podcast for you all our listeners. Hope to see you then. And don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe on YouTube. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, for where we will try and make investing simple for you all. Thank you.